At this point in the case, it probably pays to ask one of the big questions. Why me? Or rather, why just me? I'm working off the assumption that whoever is listening to this wants a case of their own, that they have an idea that they want to develop into a fully fledged fictional universe, or that they may just want to know how to do it in case that idea turns up one day. Flying solo, Lone Ranger style, doing it on your own. But not everybody is cut out to do everything on their own. Even though the tools I work on, the tricks, the methods, are all focused around the idea that a single person can do as much as possible, I have to accept the notion that some people don't want to do that. Some people want others involved. And that's the question. Who do you want involved? How many? For how long? When? There are a lot more questions involved in that than most would assume. Maybe I should start with the when. Anyone who really wants to get others involved can sometimes make the mistake of letting their enthusiasm drive. That's not always the best thing to do, at least not from the beginning. At first, the sad fact is that you're the only one who really gets your idea, and to be perfectly honest, you may not even get it yourself, not yet. So trying to drag others into it might be a bit too quick on the draw. Sometimes you need to develop an idea, to get some details on it, to get some meat on the bones, before you start pulling others in with you. Sometimes developing the idea is not even enough. You have to present it. You have to design the idea around how it will be seen, how well it will be understood, how much it will interest people. Getting people in too early might make them doubt things, might make them draw the wrong conclusions, might even make them too eager about things you have no intention of dealing with. Sometimes you need a clear message before you even start. Sometimes you can have the idea fully developed, gone on for a long time on your own, before you draw in others, just to fill out holes, to add extra. You can have a fully designed world. You can have a style that is crystal clear to everyone. You can even have full stories already done, and only then draw in others so they know perfectly well how the world works, so they have an idea about what they can do within it. And there are reasons for this, many reasons. The two most obvious reasons, or perhaps just the two that should be most obvious, are that maybe you want to have some control over where things go, even though everyone who draws in other people should know control, true control, never an option. But perhaps even more than that, the people you want to draw in may not be as quick to understand things as you. They may not be as reckless in their creativity. They may want to know where to go, how to get there, what to do, how to do it. They may need you to lead the way by showing samples, possibly many samples. Maybe they even need you to inspire them. That will require that you have something more than an idea. But perhaps even more important than the when question is the who question. Who do you want to join? Not necessarily that you want Bill and Bob and Jenny, but what kind of people do you want to join? One question is the kind of skills, the kind of mindsets you want to appeal to. Do you want people who like to go completely nuts and try experimenting with all kinds of ideas? Do you want someone that you've already seen in action, someone whose work you know, so that you can predict better what they will make? Do you want the kind that follow in line? Or do you want the kind that push the envelope? But who is not just about them. Who is also about you. More precisely, how are you connected to these people? Who are they to you? Are they people you know? Do you want a tightly knit circle of friends or colleagues or like-minded individuals that you can have around you, that you can have contact with, that you can keep up with, that you can maybe even instruct or inspire along the way? Do you want to open up wider? Do you want to appeal to people you don't know and don't see and just have them do their own, inspired by your work? Do you maybe want everybody to experiment with what you have made? Do you want to see them carry on your idea? How much control do you want over the people that deal with your idea, that pick it apart, that put it back together, that expand upon it, use it for their own ideas? The kind of people you want involved will set a lot of precedent for how you want to involve them, how much interaction you want with them, how you want to interact with them. Is it face-to-face? Is it social? Is it more business-like? How structured it is? Or is it just the wild, wild west of the internet? Just put it up there, see what people do. The options are many, and it's a good thing to have an idea of how much control you're willing to let go of in return for having other people get involved. The question also inevitably arises, how do you want to involve them? It's easy to just say, I've got an idea, now let's everybody try to use it. But what do you want them to use it on? Let's take one of our media as an example. Let's take role-playing, the role-playing game. Maybe you want to make a rule set that forms the core of a game. Add the basics of the world. And have other people dabble with it, have other people expand the world. But do they expand the rule set as well? Do they add new abilities? Do they add rules for new things? If you started out with a magical universe, do they add technology? Do they add aliens? Do they add sci-fi elements? What are they allowed to do? How are they allowed to use your idea? And again, how much control do you have to force them into your view of things? Combining these questions gives you a lot of different strategies for pulling in other people. Maybe you want to fully develop something, an idea that people can simply attach themselves to, and keep it among a small number of friends. Maybe a group that you play role-playing games with, or a book club that doubles as a writer's collective. Any fictional universe project can have its very own development style, its own development philosophy, built straight into its DNA, if these questions are answered in good time. But if they're not, don't fret. These are things that can be developed along the way. Strategies can even change. You can start out open, free fall, free form. You can start out with everyone doing whatever they want within a certain set of guidelines. And then, once there's more meat on the bones, you can construct a core story, a core narrative that takes control of the chaos and that others can build on later on. Or you can start out dictating every little detail until you reach the point where you think that others will treat it with respect, and then open it up to anyone and everyone. There are many ways to construct a strategy for how your fictional universe is allowed to spread out and what part other people are allowed to play in it. I'd like to say it's all up to you, but control is easier described than created. You may not always be the one to decide exactly how things go, how inspiration sets others in motion, or on the other end of the scale, whether people will be sufficiently inspired and feel sufficiently secure to actually join up around your idea. It's a veritable wasp's nest to have others be a part of your project. But even when everything doesn't go right, even when everything doesn't go the way you want it to, the unforeseen can often be as much a part of creation as the things that you control.